This was posted in the Cult of Cornette Facebook group, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Oh, boy.
Antonio Santos, a member of the Cult of Cornette, posted this. He wrote, well, that escalated. Christopher Cruz, Chris B. Cruz, posted something. Did you see this?
Well, now, wait a minute. Hold on now. Just back up. Not Chris Cruz, the announcer, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying it is Chris Cruz, the announcer.
It is Chris. I thought you said Chris B. Cruz. I thought it was somebody taking off on his name.
No, well, it's Christopher Cruz. It's using his full Christian name, I presume. Here's what he said. I see Lex Luger is continuing on his never-ending redemption tour. He's a nice, approachable guy now, always ready to meet the fans and talk about his prime. Nice big smile. Yeah, people can change. Turn the page. Turn over a new leaf. Find God, G-A-W-D. Hard to tell if any conversion is real, but he's been at it a while, so I guess we should take him at his word. And he's in very tough physical shape, so we should have some sympathy for him. But let's not forget this is a guy who never liked pro wrestling, didn't like other pro wrestlers, didn't like the fans, and was a condescending asshole.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
One time, when I was hosting WCW Worldwide...
Wait a minute, hold on. Are we sure this is... Well, he said hosting WCW Worldwide, that's Chris Cruz, the announcer. I'm wondering why he picked now to just come out and start cussing poor old Lex Luger, who has... as he said, had his trials and tribulations physically, and the last, geez, I don't know how many years I've seen him, has always had a smile on his face and being nice to everybody. But go on. I'm sorry to interrupt this fucking character assassination.
I think he has been in the news a little bit, or at least on social media, because he's working with DDP. So DDP, of course, only works with people if he can film them and exploit them. But no, he was working with Lex Luger, helping him stand up and be able to do stuff. So we saw some video of it. That's the only thing I've seen with Luger in a while.
Okay, so Chris Cruz, again, who shitting Chris Cruz's post-toasties? The poor guy is on video being able to stand, and he's figured this was a good time to say, well, it's great he can stand up by himself, but I'd like to remind you what a fucking asshole he was. I'm sorry, dude, tell me more.
One time, when I was hosting WCW Worldwide, a ring announcer had gotten fired, and Jim Herd asked if I would go on the road for a bit. I readily agreed, and ended up having a lot of fun. The fans in the small towns popped when I walked out, and it was quite an ego boost. Oh, excuse me, when I missed the sentence. When I walked out to the ring, because they had been watching me on TV and had no idea I was going to be there, it was quite an ego boost. So I began to announce the talent as
Wait, hold on. I gotta be honest with you. I was there for a while with Chris Cruz, not long. It was toward the end of the WCW administration there, and I working together. But I don't remember. Nobody was throwing rotten tomatoes at him, but I don't remember Chris Cruz getting a lot of pops, except maybe sometimes he was hosting the show, I think, with Terry Funk. Now, Terry may have been looming behind him. There might have been a small smattering of applause in those situations, but I don't remember Chris getting pops at the house shows. But go ahead.
Well, no, but to be fair, I think if I was a kid going to a wrestling show and all of a sudden Mean Gene, not to compare him to Mean Gene, but just someone from TV, if Gorilla Monsoon, well, not to compare him to Gorilla Monsoon, I can't compare him to anyone, but if any of the commentators I was watching on TV just walked out to suddenly be the ring announcer, it'd make it a, oh, wow, look who it is, and a few other people.
Okay, but remember, this was WCW in 1990 house shows. There were 700 people total in the crowds. How many of them were under 8?
Well, let me go back to this. So, I began to announce the talent as they entered the ring, like they do at the TV tapings. But I didn't know that at live events you waited until they were in the ring and then introduced them. In comes Luger with a sour look on his face. He brushes past me in the ring and tells me I'm doing it the wrong way. What a stupid fuck I am. How the fuck did I get the job? You're supposed to wait until we get into the ring to announce us, you idiot. He did it quickly and no one outside the ring could hear him. This is just one example of the complete asshole he was to many of the behind-the-scenes people in WCW and the no-power announcers like me. And as we know...
Hold on. Pause there so we don't lose this thread of thought. And Luger was right also, because that was a thing they started doing on WCW TV because they did it that way on WWF television. But they would announce the guy as he would come through the curtain or right before he would come through the curtain. And I always hated in a center stage or whatever, it may be fine, but in an arena, it diminishes the guy's pop instead of boom when the music plays and here the guy comes down the aisle. But in the arena, you wait till he gets up into the ring where everybody can see him and then you announce him. And the guy can fucking hoot around by the time he gets to the ring. If you've announced him coming through the curtain, he can raise his arms and fucking gesticulate about, but there's nobody screaming, Lex Luger or whatever. So it's flatter. But the agent that night should have told Chris Cruz what was going on beforehand. But that's one of the minor cussings I've ever heard in the wrestling business. If he's been carrying that for 35 fucking years.
And as we know, he was also a steroid abuser and cheater. And an
Jesus Christ! He cheat on fucking Cruz?
And an absent father. I also heard that for about 10 years, all he ate was grilled chicken and rice.
Wait, no, he didn't really write that.
He wrote that. It's in parentheses. And that is the only thing in parentheses in this whole thing, for whatever reason.
I also heard that...
I'm going to say some awful things about him, and then in the middle...
I'm going to tell people he eats chicken and fucking rice. That'll show him that no good, dirty chicken rice-eating motherfucker. Oh, my God.
He's an abuser, a cheater, an absent father, and he eats chicken and rice. So let's applaud this guy for making a change. But let's not forget that he was one big fucking bag of dicks for the longest time. So, Jim, I guess, what are your thoughts on someone finding redemption?
Oh, my God. Chicken and rice. No, I have no Chris Cruz that I've worked with Chris Cruz. And Senator, you're not. No, I did a thing like 10 years ago in Tennessee with Chris Cruz announcing for the Herb Welch Wrestleplex in Dyersburg, Tennessee. And Crispy has always been a stern and quick-witted type of fellow. But I mean, there have been people who have literally broken motherfuckers' necks, and that the broken neck-y didn't hold as much of a grudge as fucking Cruz must hold against Lex for cussing him out about the ring announcement. How
bad was Lex? I mean, beyond Chris Cruz, back in those days, let's say between 87 and 90.
No, well, again, I don't know if he was, I've never witnessed him routinely yelling at crew members at TV tapings or whatever. We've said before, Lex was not comfortable. He didn't grow up a lifelong fan. He was uncomfortable as a baby face, trying to force it. He didn't connect with people that way. He was a more natural heel. And by 89 or 90, when they'd switched him heel and he'd worked with Horseman in ring, that version of Lex Luger today would probably be one of the stunningly great workers in the business. If anybody wants to go back and look, to compare things. But he wasn't a person who was trying to be a dick to people. He just came off that way in most instances. Now, after I left and moved on to other places, and this was the WWF thing too, I never had a problem working with him. He was uncomfortable as a baby face, as I said. I think it was forced. That's what people could tell. And he was just naturally kind of had the nose up in the air. But I've known many more accomplished, flaming, uncircumcised penises than Lex Luger to, I that's why I wondered what the fuck else there was going on between him and Cruz. And Cruz has carried us for 35 years. Because it can't just be he cussed me out that time over that ring announcement, so I'm going to paint him in the worst possible light. Yes, when Lex got on drugs and shit with WCW, where apparently everybody was on something. He did a lot of stupid things, which he's admitted to, but Cruz was not around at that point in time. He's talking about the early 90s, TBS years. So I don't know what he could have done or why Cruz feels like after all this time, we should remind everybody that Lex did fool around on his wife and use drugs and
eat chicken and rice. Bastard. By the way, I'm going to go eat chicken and rice. If that gives you those muscles, I'm going to go eat chicken and rice right after this.
Remind me not to tell Cruz that I'm able to stand up by myself. He might go off.
Hey, real quick, on the topic of Lex Luger, I see a couple listeners sent this in. I have an article here. This is from Fightful, Jeremy Lambert. And it's just Fightful quoting something else. It's an interview with Lex Luger from Chris Van Vliet. Talk about how he was grumpy or whatever. This is about how A&E's biography portrayed the Lex Express. They portrayed it a little bit. My family was upset on the A&E special. They made it look like I didn't enjoy myself. We had a great time on that tour. It was judiciously edited by Bruce Pritchard to make it look like Lex wasn't the guy and he didn't have a good time. They took excerpts of that A&E special and made it look like I was healing on people during the tour. I wasn't upset. They're just spicing it up, I said. They're just throwing some stuff in there to tell their story. It didn't bother me at all that they put that stuff in there. For instance, they would show me acting like I didn't get a suite at the hotel and I was making a big stink. I was joking around with the camera guys and the desk people. They made it look like on A&E, portraying I was throwing a hissy fit because I didn't have a suite at the hotel, which was not what happened. But that's what it looked like on A&E. I was laughing. I thought it was funny. They did a really good job on that. So there's him saying that even like the Lex Express.
And then here's another part of it. Lex is not known industry wide for his comedic talents. Maybe they didn't get the fucking joke.
If anyone was going to miss that joke, it would be Bruce Pritchard, who again,
that's true.
He's flat out saying Bruce judiciously edited the footage so it looked like I was a dick to everyone. Well, we'll see if Lex Luger gets into the Hall of Fame now.
He may have been a dick to Bruce particularly, and that's why Bruce decided to. Because Jerry Jarrett was kind of a dick to Bruce. That's what led to the enmity between the two of them. When Jarrett went up there, he basically he and Pat Patterson spoke evenly, and he was telling Bruce to get the coffee kind of thing. And Bruce did not appreciate that.